Hello everyone, welcome to another transfer talk show on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzy and I'm your host for today's show. It's been an interesting 24 hours, or should I say 48 hours, as Arne Slot has officially been unveiled as the new Liverpool head coach. We'll talk about the first interview later in the show, and I'll give you my viewpoints on some of the things that he said. One thing he did mention is that he's been in regular discussions with Richard Hughes with regards to recruitment. So let's have a look at some of the latest transfer rumours circulating, and we'll begin with the first rumour, and that is Dutch fullback Jeremy Frimpong, an exciting player who I really like. He's had a phenomenal season with Bayer Leverkusen. Last season, he played 47 games, scored 14 goals, and provided 12 assists, which is quite remarkable. But we need to put some context when it comes to those numbers. He is a fullback by trade, but in the last 18 months or so under Xabi Alonso, he's been playing more as a wing-back, even as an out-and-out winger at times. So that's why the goals and assists are quite high. So the question is he the right profile for Liverpool? It will depend how Arne Slot tactically wants his fullbacks to play. I would have some reservations, especially if we play a back four. If the team was set up with wing-backs, for example, so let's say Arne Slot wanted to play a 3-4-3, then he would be my first choice for that right midfield / right wing back role. There was also speculation that he has a 35 million release clause, which is peanuts in this day and age. I did a bit of research, and that is actually correct. He does have a 35 million release clause. However, unfortunately, there was a deadline for a club to meet that release clause, and that was the 14th of June, which expired last week. So that for me confirms that he's not really regarded as a target for Liverpool. As much as I rate the player, it does make sense in terms of why the club aren't pursuing Jeremy Frimpong this summer. Next rumour, and we'll stick to the Bundesliga. Liverpool have been linked with a move for Bayern Munich defender Matthias Ligt. The Dutch centre-back had a great season for Bayern Munich last season, but with a newly appointed manager in Vincent Kompany, there seems to be a bit of uncertainty with regards to his future, as there's been rumours circulating that the club are looking at possibly signing Jonathan Tah from Bayer Leverkusen. Now, in terms of Ligt, I think he's a fantastic defender and would be a great signing for Liverpool, especially with Van Dijk in the team. The pair would form a formidable partnership, just like they have on international level. But having said that, unfortunately, I think we may be priced out of making a move for the player, as he joined Bayern Munich for around 68 million in 2022. So I expect the Germans to ask for a similar fee for one of their prized assets. Now, an interesting rumour involving a player to depart for Bayern Munich, and that is Joao Gomez. Now, I understand Vincent Kompany is the new manager, and it's obvious that there will be links with players from the Premier League. However, I don't think this move has any legs to it. I don't see it happening. And for a personal point of view, I hope Joao Gomez stays at the club, as I think he's been fantastic for us, especially last season. And he's an invaluable member of the squad, where his versatility helped us out a lot last season. And I think under Arne Slot, he will be utilised quite a lot. So I hope Joao Gomez remains at Liverpool. I think he does have a future at the club, but we'll see what happens in the summer. Next rumour, Joao Neves. Now, I presented this rumour on the Transfer Talk show last week, and I shared a small compilation video with the viewers. My assessment of the player is that he's technically sound and seems to be tenacious on and off the ball, which is a good trait to have. But his transfer fee or release clause, I should say, is around 100 million, uh, which I think is quite excessive. And I stand by what I said in terms of the transfer talk show last week. I think he's quite small in stature, so there will be question marks with regards to him adapting to the physicality of the game, and that would be my concern if he was to move to the Premier League. Now, I might have got that completely wrong. It might not be the case, and he may actually be well suited to the Premier League. But I don't think anyone can say with any chest or any guarantee that he will flourish as soon as he arrives for an English club, because he has been linked with the likes of Man City and Manchester United as well. So if a club like Liverpool are willing to spend 100 million on a player, you know he's got to be the real deal. And as much potential as Joao Neves has, I don't think he's ready for a move to the Premier League. But that's just my opinion on the player. The next rumor is German defender Waldemar Anton. Now, he's currently with the German national team at the Euros, 27 years of age, and he had a fantastic season for Stuttgart, where they finished second in the Bundesliga, which is quite an achievement, considering the fact that a year before they finished in 16th place and just about survived relegation. Now, is he the right centre-back for the club to be looking at? I'm not so sure. Now, I'll be first to admit that I haven't seen a lot of Waldemar Anton sort of in a live game, but I was hoping for the club to sign a left-sided centre-back that can also play left-back. That's the profile of a player that I think the club should be looking at. He could be regarded as a like-for-like replacement for Matip, where his experience could prove to be a valuable asset, as we have quite a few young defenders in our back line. However, today we got some rumours, or according to some sources, that suggest that Liverpool are not prioritising the centre-back position this summer, which is a concern for me because it's been quite evident that that is an area we need to strengthen. If you look at all of the top sides in the Premier League, everyone has a left-sided centre-back. We don't. So I think the way we're going to approach the game tactically next season as well, we do need one. It will definitely give us a bit of balance on that left side, and it could open a different dimension in terms of how we play our football. So, unfortunately, based on that, and I'm not saying there's any truth to that rumor that we're not going to sign a centre back, this rumor might not hold any weight at this stage anyway. Also, with these rumors, when you hear about budgets and players not being linked to the club and then getting denied to the next day, you have to take it with a pinch of salt, because the club don't want to reveal exactly what sort of business activity they're doing behind the scene. The rumors could be like a smokescreen to surprise fans and rival clubs as well, as they're probably working hard behind the scenes on getting some deals done. That's what I'm hoping, to be fair, and we'll only find out in due course. And speaking of centre backs, we've been linked with another one. So, if the media, and it's been quite obvious that we're looking for a centre back, I can't see the club not prioritizing it. But anyway, this player for me fits the profile that I just mentioned, and that is Mark Gahey of Crystal Palace. Now, the 23-year-old is currently starting for England in the Euros right now, so his stock will certainly rise. And the old drill, the English tax will be added to his final price. Before the tournament, he was probably linked with a move of around 50 million in that sort of region. Now the reported fee is a minimum of 65 million. He's a good player and he would be a good addition to the squad, but not at that price. That's above his market value, and I think we could find a better solution elsewhere. Now, let's address this silly rumor very quickly. Virgil van Dijk has been linked with a move to Al Nassr. Now, I know the Saudi Pro League are going to try hard to sign some big players this summer, but in my eyes, Virgil van Dijk is not for sale, and I hope the club presents him with a contract extension in the near future. Despite his age, people look at it and say, oh, he's in his 30s, we should be planning on moving him on. I don't think that's the right move to do. He's still a quality centre-back. I think the best thing to do would be signing a young centre-back that can learn off Van Dijk. And then whenever Van Dijk is ready to leave, we've already got a natural replacement ready, or should I say a natural successor within the team, rather than signing someone as soon as he leaves the club. So you've got to have those sort of plans ready and not just react based on when someone leaves. That's not the way a football team should be operating, and especially a club like Liverpool where football operations is very high in terms of how we operate and how we maneuver in this day and age. And we've got people in the data team looking at certain stats, so you'd hope that the club have an eye in the future in terms of who will be successors to certain players in the team that are getting older. So for the current short term, I hope that we sign Van Dijk in terms of another contract. I think he deserves it. I think he'll be an important part in terms of helping the new young proper players coming through, the likes of Kwanzaa, Konate. They're going to be like sponges where they learn off from such a great player. So I hope there's no truth to this rumor. But hey, we do have a long summer ahead, so expect more rumors towards Saudi surface in the coming weeks. Now, this rumor was discussed a couple of weeks ago, and I pretty much dismissed it, saying that the move is very unlikely to happen. Now, David Ornstein revealed that Liverpool are showing very strong interest in the player, and according to some other sources, we actually placed a bid of 40 million, which got rejected. Now, if this is true, then I guess it shows ambition from the club, as Yoro is a very highly rated defender who could be one of the best in years to come. But my stance on the transfer hasn't changed. I would love to see Yoro sign for Liverpool, but I believe he's destined to join Real Madrid, and I think he will hold out for that move whenever it's available for him. So, unfortunately, I don't see that move happening to Anfield. Now, this rumor brings a smile to my face, as I highlighted Riccardo Calafiori as a player that I really liked, and I hope that the club would sign in this window. I did a transfer show a few weeks ago, so if you haven't watched it, check it out, because I've highlighted pretty much 10 players per position, and he was one of my 10 for the centre-back role. Now, the club are strongly linked with the Italian defender, 24 years of age, just completed a season with Bologna, finishing in the top four, and they've also qualified for the Champions League, which is a phenomenal achievement for the Italian side. Now, I thought he was on the verge of signing for Juventus, but for some reason that move has stalled. So it looks like Calafiori is available for a summer move. Is this a realistic option? Based on what we heard, probably not. But if I look at it without, listening to dodgy sources on Twitter, I think it is a realistic target. But I always have a bit of reservation when players from Italy are linked to a move to the Premier League, because history will dictate that they never seem to light up the Premier League, or they never seem to settle when they come to England. So at the minute, it's a bit unclear in terms of the sort of realistic sort of approach from Liverpool. Is it true or is it not? However, I think he would be a good signing for the club. He would be available for around 25 million. However, because of the Euros, that price could be boosted to around 30 to 40 million. So let's see what happens with this one. I think talent-wise, he fits the bill. He can play left back and centre back. Ignore the on goal from yesterday against Spain. He is a quality player. So definitely one to look out for. The rumor mill is brewing with this name linking to Liverpool. So will it happen? Who knows? But I hope this is the sort of player that Liverpool are looking to sign in this next window. Now, the last transfer rumor of the day is Kvaratskhelia. I think I've nailed that pronunciation, so I'm proud there. But in terms of the player, what a quality player he is. He became a household name with his debut season for Napoli about a couple of years ago, but things haven't been the same since then. And in fact, his agent has suggested that his client is ready to make a move away from Napoli. Do Liverpool have a realistic chance of signing Kvaratskhelia? I don't think so. Napoli would demand a huge transfer fee, and the player himself will ask for a hefty salary. And maybe this agent, who seems to be talking a lot, might want a big sign-on fee himself as well. So I can see a club like PSG going for Kvaratskhelia instead for this summer, as they still haven't really found their replacement for Mbappe. So unfortunately, I don't think Kvaratskhelia will be heading to Anfield this summer. Now, one person that's already at Anfield is new Liverpool head coach Arne Slot. It's been a couple of days since we saw the first interview, so I'd like to ask you guys a question. What did you make of it? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. For me, I thought it was an interesting interview. Firstly, he speaks very good English, which is a positive. Personality-wise, he seems to be very open, very transparent, and he seems to be a good communicator. So that will put him in a good position with the new squad. He also seems like someone who will have good man management skills, which is a key trait to have as a modern coach. He spoke a lot about the team culture and that he studied previous training sessions that took place at Liverpool to see how the players interact and what makes them tick in training. So he seems to be a very calculated individual with different ideas and has a strong emphasis on training and being a coach to help develop elite young players. That's why his job title is head coach. And a lot of fans had a bit of an issue about that. Arne Slot had no issues and had no concern whatsoever. He actually confirmed that it's quite normal to have that title as head coach in the Netherlands as well as across Europe. So no issue for the new coach there. He also mentioned that he's in regular dialogue with Richard Hughes with regards to recruitment. Now, that doesn't just mean players being signed for the club. He's also referring to the coaching team, as there's a lot of areas that need to be filled because it wasn't just Jurgen Klopp that left. A lot of the other staff members left with him as well. So a lot of coaches need to be replaced. A lot of employees need to be replaced. So that's something that the club are currently working on. He also mentioned that they're in regular discussions with regards to the squad and that he will analyze the player or players, I should say, and base a system on the player qualities. Now, when he said that, in my mind, it raised the question about Trent Alexander-Arnold straight away because, unfortunately, he's been made into a scapegoat for England by whatless fans who have no ball knowledge whatsoever. Before you start looking at Trent Alexander-Arnold, look at Harry Kane, Phil Foden, Declan Rice, and Jude Bellingham before you talk about Trent, because they've been quite woeful to their standards as well, and they're playing in their natural roles. But anyway, let's not dwell on England. Let's talk about Liverpool. It'll be interesting to see how Arne Slot views Trent in the long term. Does he see him as a midfielder or does he see him continuing to play as a right back? Me personally, I think he can do a job in midfield, but I believe he would be more effective as an inverted right back. Just have to look at how Feyenoord set up under Arne Slot last season. Gertruda played that inverted right back role and scored about 9 goals all season and had quite a few assists. So he had the freedom to roam around in that role, and I think that would suit Trent Alexander-Arnold, where he's got the whole pitch as a viewpoint rather than being a midfielder where you've got to do the leg work as well. So I'd rather have him using his skill set and his passing range and having an influence on the game rather than being an hard-working midfielder. I think he'll take a lot of qualities from his overall game. So for me, that inverted right-back role suits Trent Alexander-Arnold to the T. But I'm excited about this appointment. He seems like he's ready for this challenge and he's looking forward to the future. He also showed a lot of respect towards Jurgen Klopp and spoke very positively about being his successor. And he also mentioned parallels between Feyenoord and Liverpool and how they share similarities in terms of location and the people. So, for example, both cities are located by the river. Both places are working class cities. The fan bases are passionate, and football means a bit more to them in comparison to other clubs. I know that statement has rattled Man City fans in the past, but I think there's an element of truth to it as well. So he's joining a club that has similarities to his previous clubs, which should put him in a great position to understand the culture and try to build a connection with the fans. That will be the key, because we're going back to, got a new manager, so we need to back him very wholeheartedly. And as Liverpool fans, we're smart enough, we're educated enough to know that we'll always back the new manager, regardless who it is. And I think as long as he can build that connection with the fans quickly, it will put him in a good position in the long term. So I hope the fans are excited about this appointment and excited about the future of Liverpool and are ready to start a new journey with this new manager. Now, before we end the show, as you all know, the Premier League fixtures were revealed yesterday, so you can see the artwork on the screen right now. So our opening game is at Ipswich Town, so obviously a newly promoted team, which seems to be customary for Liverpool. We always seem to play a newly promoted team on the first day of the season every year. And in fact, this game is a 12:30 kickoff. Surprise, surprise. The FA don't do it to annoy Jurgen Klopp, they do it to annoy Liverpool. So it is what it is. At least for us fans, we get to watch the game and it's televised. So that's a positive on that part. But yeah, in terms of preparation, it does reduce a bit of time for the players. But hopefully, pre-season, they'll be up and running and they'll be in a good shape to take on Ipswich Town on the first day of the season. So just having an overview of the fixtures, we've got Brentford, Manchester United, Nottingham Forest, and Bournemouth in the opening 5 games. All winnable games. I wouldn't say they're easy games. You think Brentford would be a tricky one. Manchester United, on paper, they should be the team to beat because they've been in dreadful form over the months and years. But last year goes to show that Lady Luck was on their side on occasions, and we just couldn't put a result against them. So that will always be tricky just based on the rivalry that we have. And Forest and Bournemouth as well. On paper, you'd assume, that should be a good set of fixtures for us. Then we have in week 8 and 9, Chelsea and Arsenal back-to-back. And then Manchester City in November. So end of November, that's going to be a big, big game. And then Tottenham starting off that busy Christmas period on the 21st of December. And then start of the year, we'll have Manchester United. As you go along, it seems okay. 26th of February is one to bookmark in terms of Man City there. For me, the tricky part and the pivotal part of our season is the last 5 games. So just look at from April the 26th, you play Tottenham home. Then we've got Chelsea away and then Arsenal at home. And then the 2 teams that are kind of like the bogey teams or just teams that we have to really step up because they've managed to get results from us over the years. It's Brighton and Crystal Palace. The Brighton one is at the Amex Stadium. For Palace, it's not at Selhurst Park, it's at Anfield. So hopefully that puts us in a good position. Thinking as optimists, hopefully, we're in a good position where we don't have to rely on those last 2 games. But anyway, look, I think in the fixture list on paper, it seems to be good where there's not too many sort of consecutive games where we have to play against big teams. I think from week 34, 35, 36, those 3 games in a row, those will be tough games against tough oppositions. Then you've got the tricky games in week 37, 38. And if you look at it from a monthly point of view, so in August, we'll play United. And then in October, we'll have Chelsea and Arsenal. And then in November, we'll have Man City. And then in December, will be Newcastle. We'll have Tottenham. So 2 teams there. And then in January, we'll have Man United. And in February, it will be Man City. And then in March, wouldn't regard any of them as a big team, and no disrespect. And then in April is where, the games come thick and fast in terms of top level opposition. And that's Tottenham, Chelsea, and Arsenal. So it will depend where we are in the league at that time. But if we're able to get maximum points in those 3 fixtures, it will put us in a great position, obviously. So look, on paper, it seems to be fine. It doesn't seem to be too hard. But that's not how the game goes. A lot of these teams will be improving in the coming weeks. We've got a new manager, so a manager with new ideas. So it doesn't mean it's going to be, a continuation from last year. We don't have Jurgen Klopp in the club anymore. So his style of playing, his philosophy and methodology will take a bit of time for the players to get used to. So I think for us, as long as we're challenging for top 4, I'll be pleased. Obviously, I want to say win the league, but we have to be realistic. You can't put very high expectations in the opening season of a new manager. You have to be a tad bit realistic and reduce the expectations a little bit, because it's not going to be, a straightforward. It might take a long time for the ideas to kind of be implemented in the team. But look, I'm excited. Drop a comment, let me know what you guys think as well, what you think of the fixture list, and then we'll be covering pre-season when it starts as well, and then we'll be up and ready for the Premier League season in August. So August seems like it's far away, just under a couple of months. So we'll be there in very, very due course. So that is the end of the show. So thank you to everyone for tuning in. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. In terms of upcoming content, I'll be doing a watch along very, very shortly, in around just over 20 minutes. I'll be doing a watch along of Netherlands versus France in the Euros. So please make sure to tune in for that. In terms of the rest of the weekend, I'll be doing a watch along of Turkey versus Portugal on Saturday, and I'll be doing Switzerland versus Germany on Sunday. In terms of the next Liverpool Transfer Talk show, that will be taking place next week. Time to be confirmed. So the best thing to do is hit that notification bell. Also follow me at OZZIE'S on Twitter/X, and you can also follow me at Aussie.ftp on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. So as always, guys, take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all very shortly for the live watch along. Goodbye.